So, I'm here at the Unleash conference with Opal. You are the global head of market positioning and strategy at Darwinbox. Fairly new to the company, so tell us a little bit
Yes.
about your background.
My background, I'm actually an engineer. So,
Oh,
yes, I
nice.
have my bachelor's in electrical engineering and I graduated from Columbia University. At the time, I wanted to go into semiconductors. That was my jam.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I just didn't really like how the workplace looked.
Huh.
I'm 22 years old. I'm from Miami, originally from Jamaica. I want a much more lively environment.
Yeah.
And then I also looked at some offers by consultants. And so I always like to be a lifetime learner.
Yeah.
So with consulting, it was very appealing to me to parachute into another business model, learn that business model, what solutions can I build? And so that was really my main thing. And so doing that for several years, I lived in a DC area after I left college. And it was great because I was actually also flying around the world on someone else's dime, right?
Yeah.
Because I was broke too.
Great way to see the world.
But the way that I came into HCM is I decided to move back to South Florida, and that's where I found Ultimate Software. And so they actually hired me to build their recruitment platform, which is going to be added to HCM. This is back like 2005.
Yeah.
Right. So this is early days, early days. And so we're really building out the platform of what they know I go to market as is UKG Pro.
Yep.
So going through that whole meteoric rise, being scrappy, understanding the space, building solutions, listening to customers. I still continue to scratch that itch,
Yeah.
but it also helps me hone my craft in terms of it's not enough just to build a good product because there's plenty of innovative products in the graveyard.
Oh, 100%.
It's a whole nother problem to solve on how you get people to fall in love with it.
Yeah.
How do you get people to separate from their wallet? And one thing about the American people is that they attach themselves to a soul. And so that was super important that it was not all about tech.
Yeah.
It's also about what type of relationship or emotional transfer can you really do to make sure that person is successful at whatever it is they're trying to accomplish.
You are speaking my language. It's completely untrue. The best technology doesn't always win.
No.
I think Ultimate Software is such a great case study of really building a customer community that just really like fanatical about the brand, about the company. They lived it themselves. They're a great place to work. I had a lot of friends that came through Ultimate Software. But we're not here to talk about UKG. We're here to talk about Darwinbox, a company that is really interesting to me. I met some Darwinbox folks a couple years ago at HR Tech.
Nice.
Really impressed with the demo I got, the approach to market. They were still fairly new to the US space at the time. So it sounds like your job coming into Darwinbox is to help them build the vision and the strategy for the US market and really help expand here. So I'd like to get your thoughts. Like, what do you see as those areas that you're really leaning into with being able to grow and expand Darwinbox here in the US market?
Darwinbox, we have a very interesting, I would say, our inception into any market, right? So just being founded with the whole ideal of how do I get companies to be able to be more nimble with their business model and not be hamstrung by their software.
Yeah.
That was always a common complaint by many CHROs that they wish they can do such and such, but their solutions don't allow them to do such and such. Or you'll have certain negotiations that are even happening, let's say from a unionized standpoint, for collective bargaining agreements, and then they go to payroll and say, hey, implement this. And it's, we can't. And so then you're back to the drawing board. And so that cyclical process it's always been a mainstay in our space as long as people dynamics were always evolving. And so since Darwinbox really took it on to how do we help businesses evolve and not only evolve but evolve at a very frequent pace and keep up with the pace of innovation at the same time. And the second part of that why was really about how is it that all of these HCMs were really built with the admin in mind. So when you think about it, we're talking about the time of agents right now. And so when you think about even an agent in a more pragmatic fashion, like a basketball player has an agent. Yeah. And so we understand what an agent is supposed to do and be in that context. You work on my behalf. You represent me and represent me in rooms that I'm probably not even privy to. Yeah. And so even from so much taking it at a digital perspective, this is exactly what agents do as well. And so with Darwinbox, it is great because it answers the problem that I think a lot of the HR space has tried to solve with employee self-service. Right? Remember the term, and it's not even on 100% adoption. And here we are decades later. And I think employee self-service, HR meant well, but it was only within a window of these relegated tasks that really just pawns off a lot of the things that was on HR's plate. Let me pawn it off to you. Yes, please update your own address. Yes, please update your own kids' information, like you just had a baby. Please do that. Please enter that into the system. And but that is also a very confined way of saying you're able to self-serve. But then also the pendulum did an immediate swing until like full-on autonomy. And it was just like, okay, if it's not about just doing small tasks and or being fully autonomous, having autonomous teams and so forth, what is it really about? And I think agency is really like striking the right balance. This is where I believe that HR and the workforce, as well as IT, can actually establish some type of harmonic motion, where agency is not just for HR, agency is not just for the executive, but at Darwinbox agency, we're making it available for every employee. So this is literally agency for all. And so for that whole for all message, is if you're able to do that, then you know you're not going to have just AI solutions just for that admin or just for XYZ. You're going to need a platform that makes that agency far more ubiquitous, and at the same time can compound the value of your partners who are also building out their agentic layers. Now, that is even better. Okay, your agentic layer compounded with another agentic layer. A lot of that type of data movement that we always felt, oh, I need to bring all this data into my data lake. I'm like, do you really? Because at Darwinbox, we are the first HCM to stand up our own MCP server. So that model context protocol allows us to be within Darwinbox and just ask a question. Like you're here at Unleash and sellers here. So they can literally be doing their own performance review. What was my sales pipeline? That's clearly not a question for your HCM, but our AI can actually interpret that to me. Wait, you're a seller, you're asking a pipeline. Let me go ask Salesforce this. Let me go ask HubSpot this question and render that back to you without you having to switch context. That to me is far more powerful versus you making it an IT project to bring over all this data just so that you can be able to answer a question.
All right, so check out Darwinbox. A lot of exciting things on the horizon for them.
Absolutely. We're excited. And so we know that we have become, especially for our customers, not only a champion for HR, but also IT's delight.
Oh, nice. Any other conferences this year?
Yes, so of course we're going to do the trade show circuit with HR Tech coming up, and we also do a lot of our own local events, so coming soon to a city near you. Please check us out.
Thank you. Thanks, Opal.
All right.